All right. Hey, Mark, how's it going? Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, good to be with you, Kyle.
So I'm here with Mark Faildo. He is one of our partners with Impact Wealth Solutions, and we want to have Mark today and just kind of share a little bit more about himself personally and a little bit about his business. Because for those of you that are clients, you may have met him in a business sense, maybe in a seminar or webinar, and you just hear him talking about Medicare, and I'll leave him to talk more about that. Those of you that are going to become our clients someday, same thing is you might just meet him in a business setting. So I wanted to give Mark the chance to kind of tell us a little bit about his background and maybe, Mark, where are you from and what led you to this business?
Yeah, so kind of an interesting story. Always lived here in Hawaii, born and raised. Came up through public school system, graduated from Farrington, and spent years in the hospitality industry. I've worked in major hotels across Waikiki, Hilton Wine Village, Sheraton Waikiki,
Wow.
Princess Kailani, all in food and beverage. And so 20 somewhat years in the service industry. While I was doing that, I served as a Army reservist and Army National Guardsman, and actually retired with 24 years of service with the Army.
You don't look like
Um,
you're that old though. I mean, you're 20 plus 20.
yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, I do what I can to keep young. But anyway, so yeah, after spending that many years in hospitality industry, I made a little switch and I started working for the Starbucks Corporation as a district manager. Still service related and food and beverage, but just a little bit more of retail background. So as a DM for Starbucks, my responsibilities included stores not only here on Hawaii, Oahu, but also on Kauai as well.
Oh, I heard
Um,
Kauai is one of the busiest Starbucks in the country.
Kauai and the one on Ward Avenue is, as well as Kahala, those three
Really?
stores. Yeah, battle it out when I was there anyway. Um, yeah. Um, and I loved those industries. Loved being able to help make somebody's day and do something special for them while maybe in a restaurant setting or something like that. Um, I think I got interested in other things. I started looking into perhaps even becoming a financial advisor at one point. So you study, right, for these tests that you have to take. And the very first one was about health and life insurance. So I was able to pass that. I was on my way to studying for other exams. Um, but my cousin, Sean, who's one of the principals of the agency that I affiliate with, um, called me up and said, listen, we got this thing, it's Medicare. I don't know if you know anything about it. And I didn't at the time. He said, you should come down and we'll talk story a little bit. So one thing led to the next. And I found myself intrigued by the fact that, number one, it's very complicated. Number two, a lot of folks need help with it. And the way we describe it is that, when you're working and you've got your health plan provided by your employer, there are not many, choices or maybe decisions that you'll have to make with what they're offering. But once you leave, now you become the person that needs to investigate it on all of this, right? And I was struck by, wow, there's not much help out there for people in this environment, and I started really enjoying working with that marketplace. I was able to somehow, take all of this information and put it in context where it's easily remembered and be able to, you can take action upon it, but in such a way that people would make good decisions because they now have better understanding of Medicare, and that kind of what sparked it all. Um, I've been doing now Medicare programs for the past 11 years, and still, Kyle, year over year, there are changes that we need to be on top of. So it's never a I know it all type of a subject. It
Mm,
continuously evolves and changes. And what I think also keeps me intrigued, that I feel that it's my personal responsibility to share that information so people can make good decisions about their coverage. My ultimate goal, obviously, would be to help somebody into a plan that they feel and know that that's the right one for themselves.
hmm. And now there's different types of plans and there's different companies and all that. How do you help people? How do you help someone navigate all of that?
Yeah, we call that a needs assessment. So I represent, most all of the Medicare programs here in the state. I'm not working for any one of them. I represent them. And so
Mm,
my main priority, my main purpose is really to find out some things about the clients in which we help. Some common things would be like, who are the doctors in which you work with? What are your medications? And using information pieces like that, do you travel? When you do, where do you head off to? Is
that makes a
getting
difference
coverage away
too.
from home? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. When you're
So
away from home,
If they're going to Vegas 7 times a year versus Europe once a year, it makes a difference.
that makes a difference. Yeah, and I want you to know too, Medicare is flexible. So from year to year, their plans may change, and so can your Medicare plan. You can actually switch off based on what's coming up in the future, right?
And you mentioned
But it's
you
called a
represent most major carriers, right? Whereas
yeah.
some advisors might only represent one, maybe, or two at most.
We have competition. There are other agencies like ours. Premier Benefit Consultants is who I affiliate with, but the other agencies have less companies that they represent. We can say this confidently because there is one that we represent that no other agency does, and that's HMSA. We are an
Hmm.
exclusive contractor with HMSA's Akamai Advantage program. So we love the fact that we can put out full scope of all of these plans, use these pieces of information I get from people, and then be able to say, well, Mr. So and so, with what you've just told me, here are the plans I feel that you should really take a look at because I think they'll meet the need that you have in every one of these aspects of your life, right? So yeah, we do consulting basically, and at the end of this, the person will be able to not only know why they made that decision because they have knowledge as to how to make a good decision, but they feel confident that the plan will work for them because of what they were thinking of happening down the line. And again, I said things change. Not only do their personal situations change, but also the plans, they change from
So,
year
so
to
this
year.
year, based off of your assessment, I might be with one carrier, carrier A, and then without me not changing my personal habits, next year, carrier B might be a better fit, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
And we're there. So, what I always say to people when you help is that the enrollment is the beginning, really, of our relationship. I hope never to not have you as a client, and it's up to me, my responsibility, to ensure year over year that we're going to be able to help you make best decisions for yourself based on what's coming up.
Well,
Yeah.
you better stay healthy and live a long time then.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I'm
so client,
trying.
so you would say that at least once a year around a certain time, if someone maybe they just started this year, they should see you by next year, right? Or someone that hasn't reviewed in a
Yeah.
while, they should come see you soon.
Well, okay. So on timelines, every year, October 15th through December 7th, officially is what is called annual election period for Medicare programs, right? And so what I do is for all clients that I've helped, they receive a reminder letter from me, besides other things that they'll get from me throughout the year. But this one important letter that will hit their mailboxes mid-September around would just remind them that this AEP or annual election period is about to happen, and that this would be the time for them to not only know about the changes that are occurring in their plan, as each carrier mails that information right after my letter hits their mailbox. They consider that, and then they consider their physical needs. Has something changed? Am I looking toward maybe some surgery next year, or am I going to be needing a special care in a special situation? Those two variables are what people should be concerned about. And then with that, be able to say, Mark, listen, I'm not sure. Am I in the right place for all of these things for my particular situation for next year? We do a review, and let's say, plan A wasn't the best. You're in plan A. We're going to recommend plan B. If you do decide to switch off, then plan B becomes your plan on January 1st, 2021, the next year.
Okay. And so now, there's only 24 hours in a day, and there's probably thousands of people that need to hear from you. Do you do any group sessions, seminars, webinars, even during these times? What's the best way for someone to learn more about what's available coming up and what
Yeah,
they have
thanks for
options on?
that question. Thank you so much, because on a weekly basis, I provide a Medicare, we call it Medicare 101. It's a basic presentation to learn about Medicare. It is fantastic for people who are upcoming to Medicare eligibility, or those perhaps already in Medicare that just really don't know a little bit about Medicare, want to know a little bit more. So it's a weekly seminar done online. You can go to my webpage, pbchawaii.com/mark, to register. But every single week, we have one of these in various days and times. And they can go ahead and register. It's about a 40-minute presentation with questions and answers at the end of it. And that would be a good place to start. Medicare, I could talk all day long about this, Kyle, but Medicare is, that presentation is meant to give general information, but I do want to stress that every individual may be different, right? Their situation may be different. I'll give you just some real quick scenarios. Someone maybe is still working and have Medicare. Maybe somebody has a health plan provided to them because they qualify based on years of their work, and they're able to qualify for a health plan through that place of retirement. There's those people like that. For instance, federal retirees or city, county, and state of Hawaii retirees have access to health plans. TRICARE for life, military retirees or veterans, right? These are all specific groups, and we don't blanketly help all of them because they are different. The Medicare presentation is a great overview of Medicare, but I want to stress that every individual will be handled and met with, and things will be recommended for that person based on their situation. So yeah, it's a great starting point. And I hope people do take us up on that. And like I said, it's free presentation, happens every single week.
Awesome. And now you had mentioned something to me before we even started this little conversation, in that definitely in light of what's going on right now and changes in employment and all that, is there certain things, or maybe one thing in particular, that employers and people that are maybe possibly separating from employment need to be aware of? So can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Unfortunately, people are in fact in a situation where they're either being laid off or calling it quits a little earlier than they anticipated. Large portions of Hawaii's working population are Medicare eligible. They've taken Part A. They deferred a part of Medicare because they still had their health plan from work, and that's about to end because of these situations. So many of times, employers, because of state law, will offer COBRA as a continuing way of continuing their health benefits after they separate from work. Medicare beneficiaries really should stay far away from that if at all possible, and I'll tell you why. Sometimes it's not always possible, but for the most part, highly discouraged that if you already Medicare eligible, that you forego turning on Medicare, activating the part that you deferred, and go on Cobra. And I'll tell you why. Cobra, when you stay on Cobra and you're already Medicare eligible, later, well, there's two main reasons. Number one, Cobra is extremely expensive, right? You're going to be paying full price of that premium plus maybe some administrative fees. And so your premium for Cobra is pretty high. And then secondly, if you're on Cobra for a long period of time after you become Medicare eligible, later, if you want Medicare, two things could occur. Number one, Medicare will tell you, sorry, you missed the opportunity for you to get into Medicare. You'll have to wait till a certain period of the year to do this. And then when you do file, we won't give it to you right then and there. You're going to have to wait till the following July to actually get Medicare. Oh, and by the way, Mark, when you do get it in July, we now are going to penalize you for not having taken Medicare and taking Cobra instead. These penalties, Kyle, believe it or not, are assessed, and they're assessed based on a percent of the Medicare premiums, right? So, two things to know about penalties. They're assessed and they never go away, right? They are assessed, and that money, that penalty, is tacked on to a person's Medicare premiums for the rest of their lives. Okay,
That
so it's not the
seems
type of
very
penalty
unfair.
you pay and then you go on with your life. No, it's going to follow you for now the rest of your life. And furthermore, based on a percent of the certain Medicare premium, simply means that from year to year, penalties have a tendency of increasing over time.
Mm.
So it's not a good situation. Many employers may not know, and they're trying to do it the right thing for their
They may not
employees.
know that this exists.
They probably don't. Many employers don't know that they can actually cause harm to their separating Medicare beneficiaries by offering Cobra. Yeah, so we
So
want
good
to get
intentions. They
good
have good
intentions,
intentions.
sure.
They just are not aware of the law, and it's a decision made in the moment, from the separating employee, and that
Yeah, there's a lot
decision could,
happening.
yeah, decision
There's a lot
impacts them.
happening. Emotions are high, and things are not that all that clear. But if an employer is watching this, it is of my highest recommendation. If you need more information about this, please get in touch with me. But please know that there's one question before: do you want Cobra? If you have a hunch that your employee is Medicare eligible, and typically that's at age 65, that one more question is, are you Medicare eligible? And if so, then maybe Cobra is really not our solution here. Maybe we need to call Mark and get you going with your Medicare coverage.
Yeah, well, we need to get you in front of more employers then.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, and it's again no fault of theirs. They've got tons going on, and this is just one little area where maybe they don't have the information that they need. I know if they had it, they would probably keep their employees from this harm, but
Yeah.
many of them don't.
Wow. And do you come across that often where they were on Cobra and now you have to break this news to them?
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah, and at that point, there's no recourse. It's already a done deal, and unfortunately, yeah, it then actually has to happen. But what we try to do then is circle back with the employer and say, hey, just wanted you to know, this is the situation that could have been avoided. And the next time, if you need my help, here, this is how you get in touch with me, and we can help your employees stay away from it.
Wow, that was amazing information. Thank you, Mark. Is there anything else you want to share with the people listening today?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, no, I appreciate this opportunity. And in closing, we're always there to help. And I do want to stress that there are never any fees associated with my services. I'll never have a bill for anybody that I help. And the reason for that is because of all the carriers in which we represent, they compensate me. Okay, never the folks in which I help. When I do get compensated, it is equal compensation through all carriers. And that means that unbiasedly, we search through the carriers and sort through them all to arrive at the one place. It's the plan in which is going to be most serving to the person in which we're helping. But expect never to get a bill for that service.
So what you're saying is that all the carriers will compensate you, so no money out of pocket from the people you work with. And
That's
because all
correct.
the compensation too is the same, there's no incentive for you to push one or the other. You're going to find the best option for the individual.
That is absolutely correct. Mhm.
And you also have access to all the different carriers.
That's that's what makes us a little unique. That we have most carriers than most all other agencies here in Hawaii.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Mark. Really appreciate having you on here today. And thank you so much for being a partner of ours for so many years.
It's been my pleasure. I'll be honored to help anyone out there that's seeing this video, Kyle. But thanks so much for giving me the opportunity.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Mark Faldo, everyone. Have a great day.
Aloha.